What's up, everyone? This is FP6 bringing you a video today. Going to be talking about kind of a team building guide for the Sorceress Cup. So again, the Sorceress Cup is this month's Sylph Arena tournament format. If you want information on the rules of this format and to be able to find a tournament near you, head on over to sylph.gg for more information there. But in this video, we're going to be looking at a couple battles with some of my patrons in the Sorceress Cup format, so thank you for supporting the channel. And I kind of just want to talk about my thought process for building a team in the Sorceress Cup. So I like to start off in my team building by just sticking Azumarill on the team. Man, Azumarill is so strong. We already know this from Great League, like Go Battle League. So any cup where Azumarill is allowed, it's a pretty decent option to have on your team. So I chose Azumarill as my #1 pick here because even in some of the matchups where it quote unquote like loses, like against some of these dark poison types, you still can actually win some of those matchups because you're hitting for neutral damage with Bubble and Hydro Pump, and even Play Rough is hitting for neutral damage as well. So against a lot of those dark poison types, even in the one shield, if you correctly bait, you can win it out. So I really like Azumarill. Obviously, you need to look out for the grass types in this cup. Like Venusaur is going to be a very hard wall to you. So watch out for that, but I think Azumarill is really strong, and the moveset you're going to want in this cup is Play Rough for the mirror match, and then Hydro Pump for that strong neutral damage on a lot of stuff. Another Pokemon I think that's really worth considering is Frostlass. Specifically, Frostlass is good because of its Ghost and Ice typing. Again, Ice type damage is going to hit for neutral in a lot of scenarios in this cup. Obviously, the Steel types are going to be resisting that Ice type damage like Bronzong or Alolan Sandslash. But Frostlass also has access to Shadow Ball, so both Avalanche and Shadow Ball hit for very strong damage. If you watched my previous Sorceress Cup video, I talked a lot about Frostlass and Skuntank, and I think Frostlass is just a really solid pick because even against, again, like some of those dark types, you'll have access to Avalanche to hit for very strong neutral damage. And I've actually found Frostlass to be a decent safe switch in this cup as well. So I really like having Frostlass on the team as well, and it provides you with a little bit extra fighting type resistance there. Okay, another category you need to gonna be aware of here is you need some hard checks to Azumarill. You need to have some Pokemon that can consistently beat Azumarill because it's gonna be everywhere. It's so strong. So there's many ways to get around this. You can have a dark poison type Pokemon on your team, like Skuntank or Alolan Muck. I really recommend Skuntank because you get poison type fast move damage. So I'm running Poison Jab as the fast move, and then Crunch, and actually I'm running Sludge Bomb on my Skuntank currently just because I want a more consistent Azumarill match. If you're running Alolan Muck, the win against Azumarill is actually bait dependent. You can't go straight Sludge Wave and win that out, especially since your fast move of Snarl is hitting for resisted damage. I have seen a lot of talk about possibly running Poison Jab Alolan Muck. I think that has a lot of play. But if you do run a Snarl Alolan Muck, you need to supplement your team with some more Azumarill coverage. So some people opt for like Hypno as their confusion user with Thunder Punch because you can consistently beat Azumarill in the one shield. Some people opt for just running a grass type like Venusaur. I think that's a pretty solid option there. I've also seen a lot of people run Tentacruel as their hard Azumarill check, and this definitely walls Azumarill for sure. So some stuff to consider there. Make sure whatever dark poison type you select, if you run Skuntank, you have a pretty consistent Azumarill matchup there. If you don't run a Poison Jab fast move user, you need to supplement that coverage some other way against Azumarill. So the next category here is kind of picking a confusion user. There's so many poison types floating around in this cup, you definitely need a confusion user. So I'm going for Bronzong right here because you double resist other psychic type damage, as well as you have access to Bulldoze to threaten those dark poison types, which are going to be everywhere. and you double resist poison type attacks, which is really great. So you're going to have a more consistent matchup against Skuntank. I also like Bronzong because of its moveset. Confusion and then Psyshock outputs a lot of psychic type damage. So against the Azumarill, like in the 2 shield, you can pretty safely win that with a good amount of health and energy stored up coming out of it. So you definitely need a Confusion user because Toxicroak is going to be floating around a lot to threaten those Dark Poison types as well, and the normal types. So I like Bronzong. You definitely need a Confusion user to keep those fighters in check. So the next category I have here is kind of like a safe swap category. So this is kind of where I like to stick a normal type Pokemon in here. This could be Munchlax, like you see here. I like Munchlax because it has Lick as the fast move, which is going to be doing super effective damage to the psychic types. You also have access to Body Slam, which is a great move, and you get Stab on it. And then again, you have access to Bulldoze to threaten those dark and poison types. The poison types, but this could also be Lanoon. I've seen Lanoon work really well in this spot, again, because you have Shadow Claw as the fast move, so going to be doing super effective damage to the Psychic and the Ghost types there, as well as having access to Grass Knot for pretty consistent Azumarill coverage, as well as Thunder, I think is the move that most people are running on that. But I could also see some play for running Dig, again, to threaten those poison types. Some people like to put Noctowl in here. I think that's a great option as well. You're going to be hitting for pretty good neutral, like flying type damage there. And it'll give you some more coverage against the fighters, which is great. In the final slot here, I think it is very wise to have a fighter on your team, and this could be either Toxicroak. I think Toxicroak is the most popular pick because you have access to Mud Bomb to threaten those poison types. The thing that is kind of unfortunate about Toxicroak is that you're double weak to psychic type damage. So Confusion users are really going to put a hurt on you for sure. You're going to get absolutely melted. But in some scenarios, that's all right. It actually offers less energy for the Confusion user to farm. You can kind of look at it like that. But I think Medicham might be a safer option in this cup. Obviously, you're going to be taking super effective damage from the Ghost type attacks, but I'm running my Medicham currently with Counter as the fast move, and then Ice Punch and Psychic as my charge moves. The Psychic is going to easily one-shot a Toxicroak, which actually has come in handy in a lot of these scenarios. And then Ice Punch is going to give you some nice neutral hitting damage against other psychic types, or if you run into a Noctowl, pretty nice to have there, or if you run into a grass type. I personally don't think grass types are going to be that common in this cup. If anything, you'll probably see maybe a Venusaur just to keep the Azumarill in check. But there's a decent amount of Noctowls flying around. There's, ice types within this cup. So I don't see a whole lot of play for grass types, especially with how popular Bronzong has been as well. So I hope this information kind of gives you a heads up of some things you can consider when building your Sorceress Cup team. As always, make sure to go on to pvpoke.com, and they have a team builder section there where you can input all your Pokemon, and it'll give you kind of a threat rating, and you can see which Pokemon are going to have the best matchups against your team, so you can kind of prepare for that. This is my tentative team as of now. It's working out all right. And we got a couple battles left here, so let's kind of commentate on what's going on here. Bronzong against Hypno. So Hypno has a lot of play because most likely people are going to be running Thunder Punch and Shadow Ball on it. So Shadow Ball, you're going to be able to threaten the other psychic types, and Thunder Punch, you're going to be able to threaten Azumarill. So that's why Hypno is kind of one of the top picks in this cup. But I'm able to take that game. Good game there. Looks like I'm going with Froslass, Skuntank, and Medicham here. I do have a Best Buddy boosted Medicham, which is kind of nice. It means I should win the CMP tie against the mirror match, and I just get a little bit more health there. Froslass against Medicham. Okay, the counter damage is resisted, and if I land a Shadow Ball, it's going to do a lot of damage, but Psychic is also going to do a lot of damage. So you saw me staying in there. I was fully committed to staying in there. If my opponent threw a Psychic, I would have shielded that up. She brings out her own Froslass here. Because I have a significant energy advantage, I know I'm going to be able to either pressure both shields or take out this Froslass. Froslass goes down. That is absolutely insane. Sorceress was just putting out so much work. Okay, here's a Lowland Muck. You're going to see a Lowland Muck everywhere. Yes, the Snarl damage is hitting for super effective, but this Avalanche is no joke. I was thinking about switching there, but since I got the last shield, I'm just going to stay in here, and I know I'm going to be able to get to another Avalanche, because it takes 6 Powder Snows to get to Avalanche, and it takes 4 Snarls to get to Dark Pulse, so we achieve the energy gains for those moves at the same time. I successfully land the Avalanche, my Skuntank comes out to Poison Jab down the Alolan Muck. Medicham in the back. Okay, so she is running Dynamic Punch, which offers a lot of fighting type damage there. It's a pretty heavy hitting move. I don't think I know what her second move is yet, but I'm just going to go for Sludge Bomb because it hits for more damage there. At this point, I can let it go down. And then I will bring out, I have plenty of options here. I'll bring out my Medicham to counter it down, and we'll take this game. Good game there. Looks like I'm going with Froslass, Skuntank, and Azumarill in the back this time. Let's see how this... Oh, changing my mind. Going with the same lineup, it looks like. Medicham in the back. Let's see how she adapts. Froslass against Tentacruel. Okay, Tentacruel, as we know, is a hard wall to Azumarill. The poison jabs are resisted, my powder snows are resisted, but the shadow ball is going to do a lot of damage. I do need to look out for a hydro pump that would one-shot me. The shadow ball connects, which is really great, and then she switches into Froslass again, but because I have a significant energy advantage, there's really no reason for me to switch out of here, because I'm going to be able to pressure shields or even take this matchup here. And I don't necessarily have a better option here. I could bring out Skuntank, but honestly, I kind of want to save my Skuntank for the Tentacruel. This line of 3 that I'm running doesn't have the best matchups against Tentacruel, especially since I don't have Bronzong in this line. So I do need to be aware of that. At this point, I actually let my Froslass go. Debatable, I could have shielded that and then Shadow Ball the Froslass again, because now Froslass is going to outpace my Skuntank. And I'm going to have to eat an Avalanche here, which is not great. It does so much damage, as you can see. Froslass is amazing. I'm over farming here a little bit. I want to have some residual energy stored up for that Tentacruel that's probably going to come back out. That Tentacruel has a lot of loaded energy, though. There it is. At this point, even an Acid Spray is not going to be enough to take me out. So I'm going to let this go through. It is an Acid Spray. Now I'm going to aggressively switch into my Medicham. But it looks like she's going to Acid Spray me again. And then look what she has in the back. Oh, she's going to let Tentacruel go down. It's a Hypno in the back. So because my defense has been dropped, my Medicham is going to get absolutely melted here. And she does a really great play. She's just going straight for the farm down with Confusion. These Ice Punchers are really not able to do that much to Hypno. So this is definitely going to be a good game. She's going to take this. Let me know if you guys appreciate this Sylph content. Again, I try to keep the content mixed on this channel. A lot of you Sylphers out there, I know appreciate the content. So make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you appreciate this video. Make sure to find a Sylph tournament on sylph.gg and get entered in one. They're a lot of fun. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.